Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today's pie recipe is going to be a raspberry chocolate mousse pie. It is a flaky pie crust with a light, fluffy, and dark chocolate mousse, raspberry puree swirled into it, and served with raspberry sauce. It is a delicious, sweet, bitter, and tart combination. You're going to love it. Let's get started. First, you're going to need a pie crust. I showed how to make this in a previous video, and I'll link to it in the description box. Since the rest of the pie isn't baked, the crust needs to be blind baked or pre-baked. I have a video showing how to do that, and I'll link to it in the description box. And when you bake it the second time without the weights in aluminum foil, bake it for 15 to 20 minutes until it's lightly browned so it's fully baked instead of partially baked. Then set it aside to cool. To make the raspberry sauce and puree, in a large saucepan, add in the raspberries. You can use fresh or frozen, lemon juice, sugar, cornstarch, and water. Use a little more water if you're using fresh raspberries. And place it onto the stove over medium to medium-high heat and heat it until all the raspberries break down and the mixture starts bubbling, stirring it occasionally so it's heating evenly. Once it's bubbling, keep heating it over the heat for another minute. Then remove it from the heat. Pass it through a fine sieve into another bowl to strain out all the seeds. Just keep pushing and stirring to get as much juice out as possible. Discard the seeds. Wash the saucepan just so you don't get any seeds back into the sauce. Add 1 cup of the sauce back into the saucepan. Pour the rest of it into a jar or any storage container you have. And keep it stored in the fridge until serving time. Then beat the cornstarch and water together in a separate bowl to get rid of lumps. Add it into the sauce that's in the saucepan. And place it onto the stove over medium heat and heat it until it bubbles. Once it's bubbling, keep heating it over the heat for another minute or two until it's nice and thick. Then remove it from the heat and let it cool completely. You can place it into the fridge so it's nice and cold. Then to make the chocolate mousse, in a small bowl, add in the egg yolks and sugar and beat them with a whisk for 2 minutes until light, pale, and thick. You can use an electric mixer if you like. Set it aside for now. Then chop up the dark chocolate into pieces. I'm using 72% chocolate for a nice deep dark chocolate flavor. If you don't want the mousse to be bitter, you can use semi-sweet chocolate or half milk and half dark. Don't use all milk or it will be too sweet and won't have a deep chocolate flavor. Set aside the chopped chocolate for now. Then into a small saucepan, add in the heavy cream and heat it on the stove over medium heat until it just starts to boil, watching it carefully to make sure it doesn't boil over. Then remove it from the heat. Add a small amount of it into the egg and sugar mixture. Whisk to combine. This just tempers the eggs so they don't scramble from the hot mixture. Then slowly pour in the rest of the hot cream while whisking. Keep whisking until well combined. Then pour it back into the saucepan. Wash and dry the mixing bowl. And place a fine sieve over the top of it. Return the mixture to the stove and heat it until it gets between 165 and 180 degrees Fahrenheit, which doesn't take long. Don't heat it past 185 degrees or the eggs will start scrambling. And make sure the thermometer isn't touching the bottom of the pan or it will show the temperature of the bottom of the pan instead of the actual mixture. Once it gets to that temperature, remove it from the heat. Pour the mixture through the sieve into the bowl to strain out any small bits of eggs that may have scrambled. Then add in the chopped chocolate from earlier. And mix until combined and the chocolate has melted into the mixture. Then add in the vanilla extract and salt. And mix until combined. Set this mixture aside and let it cool completely. You can place it into the fridge to make it cool faster. Then into a large bowl, add in the heavy cream and whip it with an electric mixer until it forms soft peaks. Try not to whip it to stiff peaks. Add in the cooled chocolate mixture. Make sure it's completely cooled before adding it in. And fold it all together just until combined. Then add in the cooled raspberry puree from earlier. And gently swirl it all together, making sure to keep the swirls intact and try not to mix it completely into the mousse. Keep in mind that the mousse is going to set, but the raspberry puree is not, so if there are large swirls still intact, the pie will just fall apart and the puree will go everywhere when you serve it. Pour the filling into the baked pie crust. Level out the top. Cover it in plastic wrap. And refrigerate it for at least 2 hours, or preferably 4 to 6 hours, or even overnight until the filling is well chilled and set. And keep it in the fridge until you're ready to serve it. When you're ready to serve it, remove it from the fridge. Cut out a slice. And serve it with the raspberry sauce. And that's how to make a raspberry chocolate mousse pie. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give this video a like and check out my channel for many more videos and subscribe to my channel for more to come. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.